Welcome to Wisdom on the Front Porch. Subscribe, ring the bell, like, and share the wisdom. Pull up a chair and join us with today's guest.
All right, here we are, ready to go with impact through leadership, the ripple effect of leading well. And I am so glad that everyone is here. We have a guest on, and I appreciate that she was here. And we have Risa, who was one of the authors. We have Krista Fee, who was one of the authors, and really appreciate you being here. And I would like people to know that you can get the ebook on Amazon right now. It's at a great price. You can buy 10 copies. It's still under $20. You can give the copies as gifts. We've got the holidays coming up. There's birthdays, anniversaries, just friendship gifts. Christmas is coming up. All kinds of holidays are on their way. So this is a great way to give a wonderful gift that just really shows a lot of heart. Now, I do have to offer a warning, and some people may be triggered by some of the information in the book and on our call today, depending on what's being read. Some of these leaders deal with mental anguish and corruption. Some of these things that have happened are very personal. So we just want to give a trigger warning out there and let you be aware that it might be coming up. But thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you watching this either live on Facebook or entering here with us on Zoom. And I appreciate all of our authors. Now, some of them are not here. One had a previous engagement that was set up a long time ago. Let me know about it before we ever started the book. Another one, two actually are quite ill today, one with fighting migraines and the other with an illness. But they are here in their heart and their spirit. And we're glad for it. So I'm going to go around with who entered the room first, if that's okay. So, Risa, I know you've got some things going on. You're going to have to leave early. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us just a little bit about your chapter?
Good morning, good afternoon, good day, everyone. I'm Riza Diva, and I'm so honored to be a part of this book by Ellis Kirkpatrick and other awesome leaders who are making impact wherever they are. I'm so proud of them, and I'm so honored. Um, I work in a school setting, and I just love helping people. I am the founder of Winning Tandem LLC. I don't want to It's not about that, so I'll just proceed with my chapter. During our summit, I titled it My Thoughts on Leadership, and it is based on my experience when I was younger, and that is what compelled me to lead. Okay, part of my chapter is, and here it goes. Like some people growing up in Southeast Asia, I didn't see myself as a leader in the past. I was a girl easily contented with a beautiful nature I was surrounded with. I loved my family, our adorable pets, farm animals, plants, and happy music. I was the happiest and most comfortable when with them. It's different when I'm not with them. I was a quiet, shy, and timid little girl around unfamiliar people. There was a time when I hid under my mom's long, flowing skirt when I saw a stranger. Have any of you ever done that before? Those who knew me as a young girl would think I had no idea what a leader or leadership was. And they were right. Nonetheless, I was taught to value justice, mercy, and truth. The rightful application of that supersedes my shyness and inhibition when there's a need for it. I didn't know it at that time until I was in fourth grade. I'd rather let you read the story because I don't know how will you react to this, but there's there's some part of the story that might be common to others and might not be to others. So I allow me to skip a line or so. But something happened and I surrendered myself to the authorities in the school. I did not commit a crime. Disclaimer. But to my surprise, I was granted a Model Student Award instead. Okay. It turned out that all my classmates and my teachers saw what happened and testified that the boy was attacking me. So I was being attacked and I was only defending myself. As a result, the boy was expelled from our school. On the other hand, my journey of being elected as part of the class officers began, something I never aspired to be. Yet I kept on being elected for the rest of my elementary years. So that was part of the beginning and my introduction to leadership. Then, when I was in high school, I found out that at the beginning of each freshman year, there was a special screening test for admission to a special group. Unfortunately, I transferred late and missed the test, which classified me as one of no good students. It was a sad, depressing, and hopeless situation to be in. And that didn't sit right with me, and I desired change. The situation at our school did not seem equitable, so when I found out that there was a school event for students to showcase their talents, I went from one room to another, from one class to another, urging other students, not in the so-called science high, to register and join. I received a lot of surprise reactions. Most of them could not believe what they were hearing. Nobody had invited them to participate or compete in interschool activities and events. They accepted the lie that they're valueless and just a number. I decided to go to school early, skip snack and lunch times to follow up on my fellow looked down students to remind them that there's value in them, that they matter and they count. And so you too, viewers, remember that. I will skip again. Oh, but I was grateful that when I began spreading awareness and encouragement, others started to come out of their shells and join the league. So we participated in school activities, became actively involved in school organizations, and even won competitions. Together, we did it slowly but surely. The atmosphere at our school began to feel alive, and among those who were previously overlooked, exceptional artists, skilled athletes, and many other talented students began to emerge. The atmosphere had shifted, empowered students started to shine, showcasing their best selves and taking their rightful places. It was beautiful to witness life and energy flowing, not just for a select few, but for everyone who became an active part of the entire school community. It truly was a beautiful experience, one that felt so rewarding. I like the quote by John Quincy Adams, the sixth president of the United States. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. I think you are a leader. That's why you're here. And I thank God for your leadership. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.
That's really awesome, Risa. Thank you. Now, for those who want to know, yes, we did have a summit earlier this year, and it is on YouTube. But Risa's chapter is not a transcript of the summit. She actually sent her chapter in with revisions as some of the other authors did. So the book is not exactly what you're going to get from the summit. You actually get more from the book, and I appreciate their hearts for it. It was one thing that I said when we started, we'll do a book from the summit, but anything you want to add to it, you want to change, do that. And many of the authors have. And so let's go on. to Krista Feet in just a minute. I want to be sure and remind everybody to go to Amazon and purchase the ebook, Impact Through Leadership, The Ripple Effect of Leading Well, and get your copies. Remember to get at least 10 copies. That's still under $20. And for many, that's, 2 cups of coffee. And you can share them with so many people. It's wonderful that Amazon has the ability to share the books you buy with others. It makes wonderful gifts. So we're going to go on. I want to tell you about all of the authors real quick. So I'm going to pull up the book here so I can see it. And we have Risa Diva, Compelled to Lead, excuse me, David Kametsky, From the Ashes to Soaring as a Leader, Crystal Robinson, Enhancing Team Relationships in Toxic Workplaces, Nick Earhart, Infinite Abilities. And I'm really sad to say that Nick isn't here today. He is very ill, so we're wishing him well. Dr. Shania Clancy, Limited Beliefs and Their Effects on Resilient Leaders. Adam Lattin, Accepting Can't. Krista Fee, who we'll hear from in just a moment, More Than Just a Drop in an Ocean, The Power of Your Voice. James R. Elliott, Becoming a Limitless Leader. And then I do have some comments in there because even though I did not personally speak, I mentioned things along the way and in between that I felt were really relevant to leadership. So Krista, I'm so glad you're here. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you. And if you can't, you have 5 minutes to read part of your chapter.
Oh, well, hello, everyone. My name is Krista Fee, and I am the executive director of Battle to Be, a 501c3 nonprofit that serves those who serve country and community, and Rise Up Phoenix Trauma and Crisis Institute that is really creating a framework for trauma recovery that is kind of shattering the systems that exist and really just shaking things up. So my chapter in the book is really following that same pattern of rebellious transformation is kind of what I've been calling it of late. And it's really based on the idea that so many of us are seeking our passion and our purpose, and we don't know that we're all leaders. Innately, we're all leaders, and we have the capacity to start what we're calling movement-based leadership. And it's a form of servant leadership, but with a very heavy focus on building a framework and a structure that others can follow long after you're gone. So there's a legacy aspect to that. And when you build a movement that's not about you, but is about the desired outcome and the integrity with which you want that desired outcome to come into place, you create something that lasts forever. And Battle to Be has 4 different programs that we've created on that framework that are literally transforming the way that we see crisis in our communities nationwide. They're transforming the way that we honor and remember our fallen heroes nationwide. And it's amazing to watch how some simple leadership qualities can become something that affects change, not just in our nation, but literally worldwide. So I'm going to let you read the chapter. I'm not going to give you all of those sneaky peekies because the book is, like LS says, it's only $1.99. Get it, share it, give it, and transform the world and transform yourself.
I'm answering some of the messages that we're getting in here. Thank you, Krista. Yeah, it is. It's only $1.99 for the book. It's a great ebook. You have all these powerful speakers. We do have the trigger warning on it, so just be mindful of that. Because there's actually three chapters that need to be careful with. And each for different reasons. It's amazing what strength and resilience and compassion people have as certain things happen in their lives and they're able to continue on and they see the value that they have in themselves and then are able to bring that value to others. And that is one thing from this book, from the summit itself, that each author has this amazing value in them that they just willingly share with everybody. And I don't even think they realize how much they share with others. Krista is just amazing with everything she does. You know, we've had these floods that just happened here in Texas, devastating floods, families separated, people separated from each other so much. And her team were there. They were helping. It was hands-on. She gets right into the nitty-gritty. She doesn't hold back. She doesn't just say, hey, donate to this. She's like right there in the midst of it, bringing these items and gathering these items to be able to bring to others. And I thank you so much, Krista, for all that you did, especially all that you do all the time, but especially during this weather, traumatic weather event that happened. And you don't just stop, okay, the event's happened, it's over now. Now we're going to go on. No, there's always the aftercare. You know, people see, okay, the storms are gone, everything's subsiding. Well, you have people without homes. They don't have their land. I mean, everything is devastated. And she's still there making sure everybody gets taken care of as much as she can. And there's other entities that are helping too. But I really want to thank you, Krista, for all that you have done, you and your team. Just amazing efforts.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
we have one comment that says, Krista is an awesome leader. Thank you for all you do. And it's true. It's true. You do so much. I do have to say, when I was submitting the book to Amazon, it kept catching Battle to Be. This must be spelled wrong, you know. And it's like, no, it's correct. And so, you know, and it's like, well, this is an email. It's correct. But it's battle, the number 2 and the word be, or is it battle, the word 2 and the word be?
It's all one together, just like a license plate. BATTLE, the number 2 BE.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And you've got your great website. It's wonderful. And you can find each of these authors on Facebook, on the other social media, so you can talk to them. You can ask them more about their chapter, you know. Maybe you have questions as you're reading it, and it's like, wow, I really want some good answers. So contact them. Contact them on each of the social media sites. They're included in the book. You're able to get a hold of them. I mean, how many authors can you contact directly? Actually, not that many. And this is great. This is one way you can do that. And I try to do that with all of my anthology books. You know, I leave it up to the author whether they want someone to contact them or not. But most of them do. Some of them are like, no, this was just a one-time thing, you know, so that's okay. But everyone in this book shares their information with you. We have Adam Lattin is the other one who has a chapter that has a trigger warning. And the reason is because Adam approaches life very differently. It gets you thinking in ways from a different perspective that you hadn't thought of. It's not that it's wrong. It's not that it's hard. It's just a different way of seeing it. And he brings up some really great points. But for some people, it's not the norm of seeing things. And so it might trigger some emotions that you didn't realize were there. But just remember that as you read his chapter, if you see a trigger warning on a chapter, read the other chapters first, then come back to these. They have some great messages in them, great things to add value into your life. And that's what I'm all about, adding value to people's lives. And this is a great way to do it. The book's $1.99. It's an ebook on Amazon. You can take it with you everywhere you go without having a stack of books to take. They're all right inside your cell phones right here. And that's really wonderful. It's a great way. You can share these books, you know, and for less than $20, you can get 10 books to share. And it's just a great way to do that. So right now I'm going to, oh, we have another message in the chat. Okay. And we're just really glad everybody is here and participating. And thank you for your purchases. I really appreciate that. We're trying to get this book to #1. It's for some of the authors, this is a new thing, and some it's only their second time being a #1 author. This builds their confidence. It shows them that they really do have value and that their message is important, and it is. Each one is. So right now, I'm going to read just a little bit from David's chapter. And I have to say, before I do that, we had a lot of fun at this summit where we're talking about Phoenix Rising, which Krista Phoenix is her symbol. David Kametsky, I didn't realize that he has a symbol of Phoenix Rising, and he talks about that in his chapter. We also talked about, I read incorrectly the word message as massage. So throughout the summit, you're going to hear how David Kametsky has great massage. No, that's not true. He has a great message for you. And so all of that is included. We've included parts of that in the book as well, because you need to have humor with what you're doing. You need to enjoy it. So I'm going to scroll down here past Reese's. Hers was the first chapter. David's in the second. And in the introduction, I talked about how an impactful leader sees beyond the present and inspires others to follow. And David Kametsky is one of those leaders. He is a deep message expert, but he is a speaker, an author, a podcast host, and a producer. He's a true pathfinder, which, by the way, is the name of his now graphic novel. And so he talks about from the ashes soaring as a leader. And I'm just going to start off with the first paragraph, setting expectations. Before we dive in, let me set some expectations, he says. Just like with all the amazing speakers you've heard or going to hear, I'm going to do my best to share meaningful insights. And when we meet live, know this, I'm a deep message expert. No need for anyone to feel uncomfortable about anything else. This is about authentic leadership. And he talks about how leaders are made, not born, and how you define yourself with the power of I am. He has the Phoenix metaphor, leadership from ashes, and he talks about embracing your creative sparks. He says, remember this quote, the role of a leader is not to come up with all the ideas. A great leader creates the environment where great ideas can happen. And that was so important. I really loved it. Some of the things that I have in this book is we have the beginning. I have a little bit of an introduction. Then we have the chapter from the host, and then I include the audience impact from the summit. So everybody has a chance to have their voice be heard. And I do this with each one. Crystal Robinson, we have an introduction for her. And I say, now we're going to the moon of our talk, Crystal, because part of her title is Crystal Moon Healing. And I love that. And I love that when you think of courageous leadership going through tough times, you can think of Crystal, because leaders handle challenges, and that determines their true impact. And then I have some different things that I talk about, like Winston Churchill, what he was going through, how he says, we shall never surrender. Then Crystal goes into her chapter, enhancing team relationship in toxic workplaces. That is a tough one. She talks about how she spent over 3 decades in engineering. 17 of those years, she was in a leadership roles, most of which she didn't even ask for. She was just thrown into them. She was promoted because she performed. She was elevated because she could handle the pressure. But no one ever asked her if she had the tools to lead people, to navigate complexity, or to carry the emotional weight that comes from being in charge. Like so many others in corporate settings, she inherited leadership through exposure. And she goes on with her her chapter, just some really insightful information into the corporate world and what it's like to lead in corporate world. Really valuable information. I'm going to check, see if anybody's coming in the room real quick, and then we'll go on to the next chapter and insights. I really enjoyed what she had to say, and it's always good to see what the response of the audience was during the summer, during the summit. It's summertime now, I guess. So next we have Nikki Hart, and I said in the introduction that Nick is living proof that challenges don't define us. Our mindset and our actions do. And I say this because Nick was born with cerebral palsy, but he's never let it be an obstacle and instead uses it as fuel to inspire others. He's a certified 10X business coach. He helps entrepreneurs grow their businesses by leveraging the power of podcasting, turning their voices into lead generation tools and revenue driving assets. He develops powerful business growth toolboxes designed to simplify brand building and help business owners increase revenue and, most importantly, save time. And Nick is very passionate about he does. We talk a little bit in the introduction about his life before becoming a leader and before infinite abilities, which is the title of his chapter. So he says, I have a question, and raise your hand if this resonates with you, because remember, we did this as a summit, that you can do it in the privacy of your home when you're reading the book. Have you ever had a boss that just when they walk in the room, your blood pressure goes up? Then he goes on to say, I was that boss many, many years ago. When I first got started as a supervisor for my dad's company, I got a big head. I was like, oh, I'm the boss. I can boss everyone around. Let me tell you, that is not what a leader is. My guys quickly started to not like me. Now, these are guys I had good relationships with before because I would, be an employee right alongside them. Well, I quickly learned that when you're a leader in an organization or anywhere, you should look at it as if everybody's your team member. You're not above them. Your job is to lead them, not tell them what to do, but to work together to make stuff happen. And once he learned that, Nick says things got a lot easier. He said we were like a big family. And it was tough. It was really tough when everybody started to not like me. I'm somebody that most people tend to like a lot. So that was challenging for me. But I went on to realize I had a problem, and the problem was myself. So if you're a leader and your team members are not working efficiently like you need them to, I would recommend taking a look at yourself. Even though that's a tough pill to swallow, it'll be worth it in the end. And Nick he is such a great speaker. He's a wonderful, caring person. You feel his heart in everything that he does. Krista, have you met Nick in person? No, no. Oh, you
Nope,
need.
just at the summit, but he is fire.
Oh, yeah, all the time. All the time. You can see his podcast on YouTube. He's got his own channel. He just really brings it all the time. And even with his disabilities, I mean, you're going to see him using his nose on his phone to scroll things. I actually had a guest on one of my podcasts that talked about how to make your website easier for anyone with abilities that are challenged, I'll say. And it was really great information. And watching Nick go through his day to day, because we do a lot of things together. We do a lot of things in the background. And so I'm watching him, and it's like, yeah, we really need to make sure our websites are set up for people with disabilities. But Nick is great. He does, like Krista said, he brings the fire every time, and he does it with such a gracious heart, and he cares so much about people getting what they need. So it's not, this is what I do, you need to listen to me. I can tell you, oh no, he's learned it the hard way. He gets from his heart, he's there to listen, and he does listen. And that brings me up to Dr. Shania Clancy, who, by the way, is fighting an immense migraine right now. So we really wish her the best through this. I was still looking for speakers for the summit. The day before the summit, I still had slots open. Sometimes people say yes and then things happen so they can't. And Dr. Shania was so gracious to say yes to come the day before and to talk. She has amazing, wonderful insight that's going to help the next person get to where they need to go. And more importantly, it's about helping each other. And we heard that a lot on this summit, and you'll read it a lot. You'll feel it when you're reading the book. Dr. Clancy has coached, advised, and been endorsed by and shared the stage with numerous top achievers, including Demi Leitvo, and I may have said that incorrectly. I'm sorry. Ann Baylor, Jeff Hoffman, Jack Canfield, Jamie Kern Lima, me and my words. Dr. Shania has been I'm going to slow down. Dr. Shania has been featured on Fox, Times Radio, UK, PBS, CBS, NBC, and well over live audience of 65,000 plus. And her chapter talks about limited beliefs and their effects on resilient leaders. So she says, before diving in, let's clarify what exactly are limiting beliefs. At their core, they are deeply ingrained convictions, often subconscious, that hold us back from our full purpose and potential. They show up quietly, sometimes disguised as fear, hesitation, or self-doubt. A moment of discomfort or a delay in decision making, or even an internal narrative of not good enough, can all be symptoms of these beliefs at work. And make no mistake, every leader, no matter how seasoned or successful, has encountered them. To suggest otherwise would be disingenuous. Even those who exude confidence on stage or command boardrooms can struggle silently with fear of failure. She talks about imposter syndrome, about what resilient leadership is, how everyone is a leader, which is true. How many people look at you and see what you're doing? Your children, your neighbors, your coworkers. Now, she ends up with this, and it's you are enough. You are capable, and you are needed. The world doesn't need perfect leaders. It needs persistent, resilient, real, and ready ones to make an impact. Let this be your invitation to lead from the inside out. And she just, she really wanted to be here. I wish she could have, but I understand firsthand about migraines. But we really do wish her our best. We love what she wrote about. And again, I want to remind you, you can see the summit from where this book came from on YouTube. And remember to get the ebook. It's only $1.99. It's got this amazing information. Look at it as a tool that you can use for what you're doing. There's so much insight, so much impact for what's going on. And I have already used some of the information from these leaders in my business, and what an amazing transformation it's made in growth, in leadership, and how I lead. Keeps my mindset listening to them and what they do. You have gifted leaders like Krista, who is ready to get in there, nitty and gritty, and do what needs to be done, and how she does it, how she restores herself after an event. In fact, Crystal, let's just talk about that for a minute, if you don't mind. Talk about what it's like after an event. How do you recharge? How do you recover yourself from something like that?
Well, most of the national crises that we respond to, there's even a national crisis tends to have a minimal loss of life. So it's usually not as difficult as this particular response was. I know a lot of the team actually has been really, really affected by the Texas Hill Country floods. I mean, we had 108 lost. 37 of those were children, and many of the children were found really early on. So it's my team does search and rescue and then recovery, which is getting the remains from to families, and we do critical needs distribution. So we bring things that people need and make sure that the families have what they need, like direct to the families, not at warehouses where they get stuck and don't get distributed. So we kind of see things a little different way. Normally, we do a debrief afterwards, which is our mental health. It's a structured mental health focused conversation where everybody gets to express what did they experience and how is it affecting them? Like, what are their thoughts around it? What are their feelings around it? What concerns are coming up for them? Honestly, I have been doing this work for 20 years, and this is the first time I've ever had a trigger reaction to something. So now I've noticed that the sound of a helicopter makes me like, I have a physical response to that, because when we found remains, the helicopters would immediately come in to bring the proper people that we want on site when we're doing that work. So now that sound is indicating to me that we've found a little person, and like it's affecting me physically. So I've already spoken with a therapist, and I'm going to have to continue to work through that, because now I'm literally having that physical reaction tied to sounds, which is one of the signs and symptoms that we look for when we're worried about post-traumatic stress coming on for people. So knowing that I'm seasoned and I've seen a lot and done a lot, and we still all have to take care of ourselves all the time. Like, everyone needs a therapist. Everyone needs to have a coach, a counselor. It doesn't have to be a therapist, but someone that they talk to, someone that they open up to and allow themselves to experience all of the emotions and all of the realness of what they have gone through. And being tough doesn't do anybody any good, and pretending like you don't feel anything doesn't do anybody any good. We do have to compartmentalize. We do have to be strong in the moments to be present for the families that need us to be strong, because we have to hold space for them and we have to do the work that needs to be done. But we all, as responders, have to learn how to open that box when we leave the scene and allow that stuff to come out, because if it doesn't come out, it's like a wound. It literally becomes septic inside of your body if you don't process it. So we don't want to go back 5 years later and rip open an infected wound that now has this huge cavern inside of you of pus and hurt, right? We want to get that out so that the wound can heal immediately. So, I mean, if you think of trauma as literally a physical wound, because that's what it is, it's affecting your tissues, it's affecting it literally is stored in your body. The body keeps the score is very literal. So, so we do have to be conscious as leaders of not only our own mental health and well-being, but we also have to be really present and aware of our entire team's mental health and well-being, and lead by example by getting the help that we need from the very get-go, because strength is vulnerability. Strength is being human. Strength is being aware of your humanness and allowing that to be your truth. Trying to be strong by ignoring it and hoping that it goes away is actually not strength. That's literally going to destabilize you. So it becomes a weakness over time.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for that. That was a great way to express it. And what a great way for people to understand that this trauma is a wound that does physically affect us, and it needs to be taken care of. Yeah, too many shove things way down and eventually it comes back up. You can't ever ignore it. It's there. And as soon as you face it, then you're ready to take it on and to get it better and to heal it up. Wonderful. Thank you, Chris, so much for that. That was really insightful. I know with my husband and I, we've both been EMTs for a number of years. We were just last night, there was it's what is called a recovery, where someone has lost their life in the river and you're finding them. It's no matter longer a rescue, it's a recovery. And that's a tough thing to do, especially, I've watched a lot of co-workers, other volunteers, and most of them are volunteers, they choose to do this because they know it's important to be there. Um, but a lot of volunteers can't handle what happens after the incident is over. And unless you're paying attention to your team, seeing where they are, where the emotions are, even if they seem fine, check back in with them the next day or check in with them 3 days later, because then it might have finally sunk in what really happened. And I do understand about the little ones. It's tough. I think it's tough with each one. First call I ever went on was a wife who had lost her husband, and you're just never prepared for it. You're there, you're prepared, and you're prepared to rescue and help people and give them everything they don't. But when you get to this point, it's like, now what do you do? All the training I've had doesn't tell me what to do when I can't do anything. And so, that can be tough. Now, I see we're getting about 15 minutes through. Be sure and get this book. Krista is very, very kind. She says she talks very raw. She's going to be blunt, but she does it with such love and compassion to help you. But she still talks about subjects that might be tough to hear. And I love the way you form this into being a leader. Take care of your team, but you have to take care of yourself to take care of your team. And a lot of great messages in this book. We still have the other authors. Thank you, Krista, so much for that. I'm going to go on to Adam's chapter, Adam Lamb. He said, accepting can't. Now, I did put a trigger warning, and I'm going to read you what his is. Adam has a different approach to looking at life that may be controversial or unsettling to some people. The one thing this world has is different people with different ways to look at the world. As human beings, we do get the choice to listen, read, ignore it, or go on to the next person or the next page. Now, at the end of Adam's chapter is the audience input to where one guest challenged Adam's thinking, and they were gracious about it, and Adam was gracious. Now, a quote from the beginning of Adam's talk. So I'm offering tools and ideas that actually run contrary to what a lot of people are focusing on. So I need people to understand if your system and your style is working for you, I am not saying change it up. So this is more for people that are having a struggle getting to where they want to be. True leaders don't wait for ideal conditions. They take responsibility and act decisively. Impactful leaders own their actions, decisions, and results. And I think this fits in really well with Adam. What his talk is going to be about, accepting can't. And Adam Lanton is the founder of The Clearest You. He's been a practitioner, mentor, and student of holistic healing in many forms since 1999, and his current focus is a communication and connection coach, but he still works with clients and other modalities. He believes that clarity and accuracy of yourself and others is paramount to a successful life. So I'm not going to read his chapter. I really want you to be ready to read it yourself. He does say one thing. You may be experiencing a level of negative response simply from being told, well, you should be able to do this, so why aren't you doing it? And that's not a good message. People rarely consider that. And so as a leader, I think it's important to acknowledge you are matching someone with theirs. You are matching the expectation with their individual skill or ability. Are you doing that? Or are you putting someone in a position and asking them to grow into it, even though they're not really a fit for it? Yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. And I'll read just a little bit of the audience impact. This person says, I'm not sure I agree 100% because encouragement and dropping gems into suggestions, I'm not forcing, so never forcing someone to go into a different realm, right? But suggesting may even open up a world of things they never could have conceived for themselves. It's just very rare. And Adam responded, more distance, or it will create more distance. In most cases, repeating something more than once to someone that's not receiving you is going to create more distance. The person said, yeah, I can agree with that. And it's just great, the conversation we had. And then right after that comes Krista's chapter. Wonderful, wonderful. And of course, she has a trigger warning. She says, I'm going to mention some things that are very hard for some listeners to hear, but I believe that it's very crucial, even if it's uncomfortable, that you do hear it. So if you're uncomfortable and you need support after I speak, I'm more than happy to support you. And you've heard Krista here. She is great support. Her chapter is more than just a drop in the ocean, the power of your voice. And I thank you so much, Krista, for speaking on the summit and for submitting your chapter for this too. Just wonderful. And then we wrapped up the summit with James R. Elliott. And James is, him and I get along so good. We share books with each other. We're sending books back and forth right now. In fact, let me grab it for you. Somehow this package got put on a shelf at UPS, and I just got the book he sent. And it's called Unleash Your Power from James Elliott. Really great book. I haven't read it all, just getting started in it because I just got it. But James just has a very youthful, energetic way of speaking and talking. So I'll tell you who he is. Let me get a drink of water because I can feel the dust getting to me. Our temperatures have been getting up over 100 right now, so it's just kind of enclosing everything here. James is a human behavior expert. Plus, he has an education in psychology and business from New York University. He created a weekly mastermind group for your success, and he is internationally certified trainer, a master trainer apprentice for 6 years. And there's a whole lot more to him. And even though he spoke on the summit about becoming a limitless leader, James is another one of our authors who sent in his chapter a little different because he had some more important things he wanted to say, kind of finishing up. He talks about the foundation of a limitless leader, about leading yourself first. Then he talks about the self-leadership imperative, the engagement crisis, why traditional management fails. He talks about beyond management, true leadership defined. And true leadership is taking responsibility for what you may not be responsible for at all. What? Yeah, he talks about that and goes into there. He talks about Ernest Shackleton, leadership challenge boxes, reflection questions, comfort zone paradoxes, self-assessments, and so much more. He's just got this really great chapter that I am so glad he included with it. And I thank him for being there. We've got some audience impact from him, and it's really great. Now, these are just amazing authors who have taken the time to share their expertise with you, to help you become more of who you are, to help you understand what leaders go through, what a leadership is. And I love so much for everyone that was able to come on and on camera. I still have some in the background, but to come on and talk about what uh, leadership has meant for them. We have Riza, who is starting out and realized I've been a leader from the time I was a child. I just didn't know it. Um, Talking about David Kametsky, who is doing all of these different things that show him as a leader. I have to tell you, the first time I saw David, I was in a book launch in New York City, and we had gone to I don't remember what building it was at, but as we're coming down and I see him talking with someone and we're all waiting for each other, so it's not like I was purposely watching or anything, but some just drew me to him and the way that he was helping this person through a personal crisis that was triggered by a horrible event that had happened to them at that time. And he was calming, he was present. He was not judging or saying, well, you need to be this way and you need to stop this and you need to do that. He took the time to listen, to understand where this person was coming from, to be there for this person and help them through the crisis, through the traumatic event they were reliving right at the moment. And that just blew me away to be able to see someone do something this impactful and in such a short amount of time. And I have gotten to know David. He's just a unique individual. I am so glad that he calls me his friend, and I am so glad to call him my friend. Krista, I see you smiling here too. and and you've met David, haven't you? Yeah, yeah. Maybe you could say something real quick.
David is a bright light. Like, he brings humor to even the most mundane of experiences. So, like, you can be talking about really serious stuff, and somewhere in there, he's gonna sneak something awkward or something fun, and then you have to think about it because he usually sneaks it in, and then like 5 minutes later, you're like, wait, what? What? And then you have to laugh. He is a great conversationalist.
Oh, yes. Yes, yes. And he's willing to talk to you about any of these chapters, about anything that's in there, and each author is. I know if you were reading somebody else's chapter, maybe you're reading the stuff I put at the end and you wanted to talk to Krista, I know she would be willing to talk to you. Each person here has just this unique ability to just care about you, to love on you, as my aunt used to say, when you're sharing with each other and you're willing to listen. And it's just wonderful. So be sure to go to Amazon, get the book. It's only $1.99 right now. Get 10, get 20 of them. There's your sweet baby. I've locked all of mine out of the room because they're just, my cat's climbing on me now. I've never had an indoor cat before. This is a brand new experience. And she's just a little kitten. I think she's 9 weeks old this week. And so she's learning to climb up my legs, and it's like, no, that's not comfortable. But it's great. And I thought I wasn't allergic to her, but I am. I'm not breaking out on my hands, which I'm really glad for, but my sinuses definitely get it. So it's back to taking my allergy meds again. But she's just great. And she's learning to use the dog door already. Just hilarious. But she's got 3 dogs to keep up with. So, but that's off topic. We're getting back to the books. But that just shows you how comfortable we are with each other. The summit was so wonderful. And we all felt comfortable with each other. We laughed with each other. We shared with each other. We encouraged each other on the summit. And that was such a valuable um, camaraderie to have. And I know we still talk with each other. And this summit was at the beginning of the year, and we're still talking with each other, not because of the book, not because of the summit, but because of who we are and how we connected with each other and how we connect with other people. And you're going to find that in this book. You're going to find that connection. You're going to find that heart of each leader. You're going to find what they're all about and how they really want you to succeed in all that you do. So as you're buying these ebooks for your friends, make sure you keep one for yourself because it's something you're going to want to keep, to reuse, to go back to. When you talk about tools in your toolbox, this is a really valuable tool to have in your toolbox. And we've got like 5 minutes left, so I'm going to see if I can find some really good quotes. I'll talk a little bit about my chapter, if that's what you can call it. It's called Impacting Through Example, Discovering Leadership Unexpectedly. And I had no idea I was a leader until one day my family said to me, and we were at an event, and they said, "Well, you're the leader. You need to tell us what to do." And I thought, what? When did that happen? When did I become a leader? I mean, I didn't even realize that I had been leading my family. What did we hear at the beginning of this hour was that everyone is a leader. You know, whether it's just leading your own family, leading your friends, you're a leader. And learning what to do with that and how to enhance it and how to improve upon it is good. We need to do this. Throughout the summit, I used other people's quotes. Earlier, you heard me talk about Winston Churchill. I have one little part where I say you never know who's next. J.K. Rowling is an example. And I once spoke with a children's book author who was at the publishing house that J.K. Rowling came to. Now, saw her, and he said he saw her, and he had this tiny little check, and he had his big check from the publishing house. She had her tiny little check, and he didn't think much of it. And he was really proud of this big check he got. But later on, he said, "I got the big check, but she got the movies, the merchandise, and the world." Now, if you know about Harry Potter, you know who J.K. Rowling is. And it was so interesting to hear him just be in awe of her. Here was this unknown person, came into the same publishing house that he was at. He had just gotten his big fat check for another one of his books. She walks in, she gets this tiny check. He was thankful for her, congratulated her, but he was like a lot of people. It's like, wow, I'm big stuff. And then he sees where she goes, and it's like, wow, I'm not as big stuff as I thought I was. So you never know who is going to be the next one to rise up. I talk about the power of communication, legacy and ownership, and redefining success. But all of the best parts of this book are the authors, like Krista, like Riza, like Adam, David, Nick, Dr. Shania, James, Crystal Robinson. What a powerful impact she had, being forced into these roles that she was not ready for, and how she dealt with that and the after effects of it. Like we were talking with Krista, you've got to take care of yourself so you can keep on helping others. And Crystal went through this. She shares it with us. And I love the way these authors are vulnerable with you, the reader, on how they got to where they are, what they're doing, and where they're at right now. And it's so great to talk with them, to be able to have their voice shared with you. So the couple minutes we have left, I just really want to encourage you to be sure and get the book on Amazon, Impact Through Leadership, The Ripple Effect of Leading Well. It might be the ripple effects of leading well, sorry. But yeah, it's just amazing. And we're waiting to go to number one. So buy as many books as you can within this first 24, 48 hours. That's where the impact makes a difference, because we want to impact your lives. We want to impact the lives of those you know who need to be confirmed, who need to say, yeah, I am a leader. Yeah, I went through this stuff too. You are so valuable. I always end most of my talks with this, and I'm going to end this on the impact through leadership. The ripple effect of leading well is you are valuable. You are worthy. You are enough, and you do matter. And it's so important to know that. So we'll see you next time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the replays and for watching. And thank you for purchasing the books. We really appreciate it. And we appreciate you. Now go be that ripple effect and lead well.
Thank you, my front porch friends and neighbors, for pulling up a chair with me and my guest today on Wisdom on the Front Porch. Now, if you've got value from this conversation, would you do me a favor? Leave a quick review, then share it with someone you know who could use some inspiration. It helps more friends find their seat on the porch. And hey, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss what's next. Until then, keep the porch light on for new wisdom every time you show up. Your seat's always here for you on the porch.